ready to unlock some trading secrets, some centuries-old trading secrets. Today's deep dive takes us into the fascinating world of Japanese candlestick charting.
Right.
We're diving deep into Japanese candlestick charting techniques by Steve Nison, a modern-day guide to this ancient practice.
Yeah, what's captivating about candlestick charting is its sheer age. Forget your bar charts and your point and figure charts.
Right.
This technique predates them all.
Wow.
Emerging in 18th century Japan as a tool for, believe it or not, rice trading.
Rice trading. It's amazing to think those visual cues were used to analyze commodities centuries ago.
Yeah.
Our source material mentions this legendary figure, Munehisa Homma, who is nicknamed the god of the markets for his mastery of this technique. What was it about Homma's understanding of the markets that made him so successful?
Homma's genius, and what candlestick charting highlights so effectively, is the realization that markets are driven by human psychology.
Okay.
It's not just about numbers.
Right.
It's about understanding the emotions, the hopes and fears of traders that influence those numbers.
Right.
Each candlestick, whether representing a day, a week, or any time frame, encapsulates a snippet of that psychological drama.
Nison refers to each candlestick as a story. I like that analogy. It makes it feel more relatable, almost like you're reading a mini narrative of the market's behavior.
Right.
So how do we decipher these stories? What are the basic elements we should look for?
Imagine a candlestick.
Okay.
You'll notice the body, the thick central portion, which represents the price range between the open and close of that specific period.
Okay.
Now, a white or hollow body signals bullish sentiment, meaning the closing price was higher than the opening price.
Right.
Conversely, a black or filled body suggests bearishness, the close was lower than the open.
Okay, that makes sense. So at a glance, we can already glean some insight into the market's mood based on the color of these candlestick bodies.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than just the body, right? What about those lines extending above and below the shadows, or wicks as they're called?
You're spot on.
Okay.
These shadows or wicks are critical. They illustrate the price extremes, the highest and lowest points reached during that period. Think of it as a visual representation of the battle between buyers and sellers.
Right.
The longer the upper shadow, for instance, the more the price attempted to rise, only to be pushed back down.
That's a really vivid way to picture it. Like the bulls charging up only to be met by a wall of bears.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how much information is packed into this single visual element.
It is.
Would it be fair to say that candlestick charts provide a more nuanced view of market sentiment?
Absolutely.
Compared to, say, a simple line chart?
Absolutely. A line chart might show you where the price ended up.
Right.
But a candlestick chart reveals the journey. The push and pull of traders' emotions that led to that final point. And this is where we delve into the real artistry of candlestick charting. Recognizing the patterns these candlesticks form and understanding what they might be telling us about future price movements.
So it's not just about individual candlesticks.
It's not.
But the patterns they create. Almost like constellations in the night sky.
Exactly.
And each pattern has its own unique name and meaning.
Precisely.
Okay.
Take the doji, for example.
Okay.
Picture this. A candlestick with practically no body, just a thin line.
Right.
Because the open and close are virtually the same.
Right.
What does that tell you about the market state of mind?
A doji with its open and close, practically identical. It sounds like the market is wavering, unsure of which direction to take.
Exactly. It's a moment of indecision.
Right.
A pause in the ongoing tug of war between buyers and sellers.
Okay.
Now, this doesn't necessarily predict a reversal.
Right.
But it's a point to pay close attention to.
Okay.
Especially if it occurs after a strong price move.
Right.
Nison provides a number of these patterns, each with an evocative name, like hammer, engulfing pattern, or morning star.
Okay.
These names, while colorful, actually hint at the potential price action they might foreshadow.
It's like the market is speaking to us in code, and these patterns are the keys to cracking that code.
Exactly.
But if I'm understanding this correctly, we can't just rely on a single candlestick or even a single pattern in isolation, can we?
You can't.
Context is key, right?
Absolutely. Candlestick patterns are most potent when corroborated by other forms of technical analysis.
Right.
Think of it like detective work.
Okay.
You wouldn't convict someone based on a single fingerprint, would you?
Right, right.
You'd look for other supporting evidence,
But
right?
it's about building a case.
Exactly.
So if we see a hammer pattern,
Right.
which, as the name suggests, looks like a hammer with a long lower shadow, we shouldn't immediately assume a reversal is imminent.
Right.
What else would we look for to confirm that suspicion?
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Let's say that hammer appears after a downtrend,
Okay.
suggesting a potential bullish reversal.
Right.
To bolster our confidence, we might look for a surge in trading volume accompanying that hammer. Increased volume often signals conviction, suggesting that a significant number of traders are indeed stepping in,
Right.
potentially shifting the market's direction.
So it's about piecing together the clues,
Yes.
the candlestick pattern, the volume, and any other relevant indicators.
Exactly.
It's like putting together a puzzle,
Yeah.
but instead of a static picture, we're trying to anticipate a future outcome.
Right, right.
Now, earlier, you hinted at something that really piqued my interest. You suggested that these principles of candlestick charting, this understanding of human psychology reflected in the markets,
Yeah,
could be applied beyond the realm of finance.
absolutely.
That's a fascinating concept.
It is.
Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. If we step back and consider what candlestick charts truly represent, the interplay of fear and greed, the shifts in momentum,
Yeah.
those moments of doubt and indecision,
Right.
we realize these are fundamental human experiences, not
Right.
just financial ones.
So the language of candlesticks, while born in the rice pits of Japan, could potentially offer insights into a whole range of human behaviors.
Precisely.
Wow.
Imagine, for instance, using candlestick patterns to analyze trends in social media.
Okay.
Could a sudden surge in engagement followed by a sharp decline be interpreted as a shooting star,
Right.
a bearish reversal pattern
Right.
suggesting fleeting trend?
Okay.
Or perhaps you're negotiating a deal.
Right.
Might the back and forth, the concessions and counteroffers be
Yeah.
visualized using candlestick charting to gain an edge in understanding the other party's motivations?
That's a mind-blowing concept.
It is. It is.
It's like you've given us a new lens through which to view the world,
Yeah.
to decipher the patterns, not just in markets, but in human behavior itself.
Exactly.
This opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It does.
But going back to the financial markets for a moment,
Yeah.
since candlestick charting originated in the rice trade,
Right.
does its effectiveness change when applied to different asset classes?
That's a good question.
Like stocks, bonds, or even the notoriously volatile cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about applying these rice trading techniques to something as modern as cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
should we adjust our expectations about how reliable these signals are?
That's a very astute question.
Okay.
It's important to remember that every market has its own personality,
Right.
its own rhythm and tempo. Okay. Rice, for example,
Yeah.
is a physical commodity,
Right.
subject to seasons, weather patterns, and storage limitations.
Right.
Stocks, bonds, cryptocurrencies,
Right.
they exist in a digital realm,
Yeah.
driven by news cycles, technological advancements,
Right.
and yes, sometimes pure speculation.
So a hanging man candlestick pattern,
Right.
which might signal a potential reversal after an uptrend,
Yeah.
might carry different weight depending on whether we're looking at a chart for wheat futures or the latest meme stock.
Precisely.
Okay.
The volatility inherent to an asset class
Mm-hmm.
should absolutely factor into your interpretation of candlestick patterns.
Okay.
A long upper shadow on a cryptocurrency candlestick
Right.
might not raise as many eyebrows as the same shadow on a bond candlestick,
Right.
simply due to the stark difference in their typical price swings.
So context is king.
It is.
We need to understand the asset, the market, and factor in its unique temperament.
You got it.
It seems like candlestick charting can be incredibly powerful,
It is.
but it's not a crystal ball, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's a tool,
Right.
a finely crafted lens for observing the markets,
Okay.
but it's up to the user to interpret what they see.
Right.
It's about developing a feel for the market's rhythm,
Right.
recognizing patterns, and using those insights to inform your decisions,
Yeah.
never blindly following signals.
This has been a fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, it is.
So for our listener who's now eager to start spotting dojis and hammers,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways they should carry with them as they explore candlestick charting?
First and foremost, remember that candlestick charting is more than just memorizing patterns.
Okay.
It's about understanding the psychology
Right.
behind those patterns, the emotions that drive traders to act and react.
It's about seeing the story unfolding in those candlesticks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just like a good story,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to consider the context,
Right.
the setting,
Okay.
and the characters involved.
Right.
The same pattern
Mm-hmm.
might have entirely different implications depending on the asset class,
Right.
the market conditions,
Right.
and the supporting evidence.
Don't jump to conclusions based on a single candlestick.
No.
Look for confirmation,
Yeah.
corroboration from other indicators,
Exactly.
and use your own judgment.
Well said.
Okay.
Approach it with a blend of curiosity and skepticism. Question your assumptions.
Okay.
Experiment.
Right.
And never stop learning.
Right.
That's how you'll truly unlock the power of candlestick charting.
And who knows, you might even start to see those candlestick patterns reflected in other areas of your life,
Possible, yeah.
revealing the hidden psychology shaping the world around us.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Japanese candlestick charting.
My pleasure.
We'll leave you with a final thought from Steve Nison.
All right.
The study of candlestick charting is a journey, not a destination.
Mmm.
Happy charting.
Happy chart.